In addition to being two of the winningest in the business of college football coaching, Tom Osborne and Joe Paterno may be the most respected by their peers and by their fans. Paterno in 1986 would be the first ever Sportsman of the Year named by Sports Illustrated magazine from the coaching fraternity. And that was even before he won a national championship in that Fiesta Bowl thriller with the University of Miami. It is a full house every time the Cornhuskers and Nittany Lions meet. That's 6 times before resumption of the modern series in 1979. Penn State had won 4 of the first 6. Tom Osborne, every year of his head coaching career, a top 10 finish and a postseason bowl bid. Although the national championship dream still remains to be realized. Someone a long time ago reported seeing a lion on the Pocono Mountains of western Pennsylvania. Hence a unique nickname for the school in State College, Pennsylvania, with the second winningest record in college football. And with a mascot with implicit trust in his blanket holder. Colorful preliminaries to the resumption in 1979 of a football rivalry that seems to epitomize what college football is all about. Gorgeous fall day in Lincoln as the Huskers kick off. Penn State All-America Kurt Warner returns it to the Lions 16. Opening play, quarterback Dale Tate to fullback Matt Suey, 4 yards to the 20. Running back Booker Moore up the middle for 3 yards. But the Huskers hold and force a punt. Now in their first possession, Andrew Franklin is able to pick up only a yard to the Nebraska 48. It's the Nittany Lions' turn to force a punt. Split end Tim Smith lofts one to Suey at the Nebraska 15. Warner, who holds many of the Penn State ground-gaining records, turns in an 8-yard effort. And the Nittany Lions go to the air. Tate to Scoville for 40 yards. And moments later, the same combination. 19 yards for a touchdown. State takes a 7-0 first quarter lead. Now it's the Huskers that go to the air. And watch as Tim Hager's pass gets tipped by cornerback Pete Harris. But Kenny Brown comes back to make the grab. Huskers pick up 14 yards. At midfield, running back Jarvis Redwine adds 6 more before being stopped by Harris. But the drive is halted. And Penn State, after a punt carries into their end zone, takes over at their own 20. Suey pounds the middle for 4 to make it 2nd and 6. But on the next play, middle guard for the Huskers, Odious Lee, breaks through to deal Suey a 2-yard loss, and the Lions have to give up the football. 1st and 10, Huskers are on 24. I back I am hip for 2 tough yards. 2nd and 8, and Hager again elects to go to the air. This one picked off by cornerback Tom Wise, who turns it into the second Nittany Lion touchdown. Penn State in front, 14-0, still in the opening quarter. Huskers try some trickery on the ensuing kickoff. Kenny Brown takes the kick, puts on the brakes, launches a crossfield lateral to Anthony Steele. The Lions are not fooled. Steele's dropped at the Husker 15 as the first quarter ends. Jarvis Redwine to open the second period, high-stepping for 10 yards to start a Husker drive that carries to the Penn State 11. There, Hager finds All-America tight end Junior Miller in the end zone. Nebraska's on the board, 14-7. Kevin Seibel's boot carries to the 5-yard line. But Kurt Warner, who had some of his very best days against the Huskers, totes this one back 22 yards to the Penn State 27. And again, Penn State goes to the air. A Tate to Donovan connection, good for 7 yards. But the Huskers stiffen and once more force a punt. A running play gets the Huskers out to their own 30. Then Hager fakes the run, draws back, spots Junior Miller behind the defenders, and fires a strike. Miller shakes off a tackle, circles into the end zone, and the ball game is tied at 14 apiece. On the next possession, a Tate to Suey pitch is fumbled, and the Huskers recover at the Penn State 16. Then on the very first play from scrimmage, wingback Kenny Brown takes a deep pitch on a reverse, threads his way into the end zone to give the Huskers their first lead. Ahead 21-14, Nebraska forces a punt, take over their own 42. And watch in slow motion as Andrew Franklin gets the opening he needs to carve out 34 yards up the middle. And the Huskers are knocking hard again. Jarvis Redwine circles left to the Penn State 5-yard line. Now it's Franklin again, belting in for the fourth Husker touchdown. The Huskers go to the halftime break, leading 28-14. Nittany Lions kicking off to start the second half. Brian Franco's boot to Kenny Brown, brought back to the 32, where the kicker, Franco, makes the tackle. First series, Hager, a pitch to hip that gets away. Penn State recovers at the Cornhusker 25. Tate, attempting to go to the air, finds nobody open and is sacked at the 33 by tackle Bill Barnett. Tate again to the air, this time a completion to Donovan. 15 yards, not enough for the first down, and the Nittany Lions have to settle for a field goal. And the score, 28-17. Excellent kickoff coverage forces the Huskers to start from their own 9-yard line, but Hager, with a great execution of the pump and go, hits Tim Smith, a 47-yard gain to the Penn State 44. Jarvis Redwine chips in with a 21-yard pickup, and the Huskers are knocking hard at the Penn State 11. Watch as a hard-charging line sets up an unusual play. Hager has his pass tipped, then grabbed by center Kelly Southfield, a 2-yard pickup. Not enough, and the Huskers have to try to settle for a field goal. But Sukup's try is wide, and the score remains 28-17. Penn State on the final play of the third quarter. Rakowski now at quarterback for the Lions. A 17-yard completion to Matsui as the third quarter winds down. At the Nebraska 31, Kurt Warner dropped for a 2-yard loss on an attempted draw play. Now the Huskers take over at their own 29. Hager back to the air again to Kenny Brown, 17 yards. At the Penn State 46, Andrew Franklin with more tough yards. And it's Jarvis Redwine again. The Husker I-back turns the left side for a 10-yard pickup. Pete Harris making the stop. Husker drive carries to the 7, where Tim Worth rolls in for the score to make it 35-17. Warner again the deep man on the kickoff. Brings it back 22 yards before the tackle by Lawrence Cole. Rakowski tries the left side. A pickup of 5 to the 28. Now Kurt Warner, and a pitch out that gets away. But he's able to recover before being hit by end Derry Nelson. Huskers ball back in their own 42 and some dipsy-do. Hager to Redwine, back to Hager, who still has to thread the needle to get a completion to Tim Smith and a 16-yard advance. Redwine again, this time for 14 yards. And the Huskers have moved to the Penn State 24. Jeff Quinn at quarterback. Tim Smith, his 6th catch of the day. 17 yards to set up the final Husker touchdown. And here it is from about 5.5 yards out, fullback Jim Kutera. Final score 42-17, and the Huskers have a win at home, but still trail in the series 4-3. Tom Osborne and Joe Paterno exchange some post-game pleasantries. 1980 means back to State College, Pennsylvania for game number 8. A year later, not only 84,000 Pleasant Beaver Stadium, but a national television audience looking on. Penn State an 8-4 year, a winner over Tulane in the Liberty Bowl. Huskers 9-2 in that Orange Bowl loss in the rematch with Oklahoma. Kevin Seibel drives the opening kickoff into the end zone. The Nittany Lions elected down it there. Opening play of the game, a missed assignment, and Jeff Hostetler leveled by Husker and Derry Nelson, a 9-yard loss. Lions bounce right back. All-America Kurt Warner, the draw play for 17 to the Penn State 26. Husker defense smothers the next running play to Keno today, in which defense will dominate. A Penn State punt, fielded by Dave Legal, who loses 4 yards trying to set up a return. Huskers at their own 42. Jarvis Redwine with a pitch from Jeff Quinn, 17 yards to the Penn State 38. Ground level look at a Nebraska pass attempt, broken up by the Penn State secondary. And the Huskers fail to move the ball and are forced to give up possession. Penn State's second drive starts from their own 29-yard line. Kurt Warner left for 3, and it's 2nd and 7. And the first big break of the game. Hostetler loses the snap from center, and the Cornhuskers recover. Watch the slow motion and Derry Nelson from the right end for the Huskers.
Go Big Red! Go Big Red! Go Big Red! Go Big Red!
From the Penn State 30, Andra Franklin cracks the middle for 7 yards. Jarvis Redwine uses his speed outside, nearly goes the distance. Belted down finally at the Lions' 7-yard line. And a play later, 2nd and goal from the 1. Jeff Quinn squeezes through for the first score of the game. Extra point makes it 7-0 Cornhuskers. Seibel's kickoff this time goes to Jim Williams. A bouncer and a fine 32-yard return. Penn State sets up shop at their own 34. Kurt Warner outside, 9 yards before being stopped by Derry Nelson. Warner again, but this time dropped for a 5-yard loss by Jimmy Williams. And the Husker defense continues to sparkle. Hostetler sacked 13 yards back by Derry Nelson. A Penn State punt gives the Huskers their ball at the 26-yard line of Nebraska. Nittany Lion rush gets to Jeff Quinn, a 3-yard loss, and it's 2nd and 13. Quinn again, this time a quick flip to Redwine on the left flat, and Jarvis turns it into a 36-yard advance. Again, a ground level look as Redwine moves it for a short gain as time runs out in the first quarter. Quinn opens the second period with a strike to Todd Brown, just barely in bounds, but the Lions are able to hold. Huskers are forced to try for the field goal, long enough but just outside the uprights, and it remains 7-0. Penn State's durable Kurt Warner chips in a 4-yard advance, 2nd and 6 at the State 37. Freshman Todd Blackledge at quarterback can't locate a receiver and is dropped for an 11-yard loss by middle guard Kurt Heinlein. Huskers continue to put pressure on Blackledge up front. His 3rd and long throw gobbled up by monster back Sammy Sims, who lugs it back 19 yards to the Penn State 19. From in close, it's Redwine again, and the Huskers have their second touchdown to lead 14-0. Eddie Neal's kickoff taken by Warner. A 15-yard run back lets Blackledge start his drive at the Penn State 26. Blackledge to Moore, right side, good for 9 yards. Blackledge on the keeper left, picks up 5 more. On his 45, Blackledge to Kenny Jackson, and a 40-yard play to give Penn State their deepest penetration of the afternoon. From the 3, Warner gets the call. He goes in, and it's a 14-7 game at the end of the first half. The Huskers receive the football to open second half play. Anthony steals all the way back to the 3, brings it back to the 38-yard line. Jarvis Redwine picks up a few, but the Huskers have to kick it away. Then Penn State unable to move the ball. Faced with 3rd and long, dusts off the quick kick play to pin the Huskers back at their 27-yard line. Andrew Franklin takes the handoff, hits the middle for 7 to get the Husker drive underway. Quinn to the air. On first down at the 17-yard line, a grab by Todd Brown and another Nebraska first down. From there, Jarvis Redwine finds some running room and adds 9 more. Now Redwine with some other tough inside yardage. Gets it closer. Makes it 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line. And Redwine once more in a Husker oldie. Up and over Jarvis' second TD of the day, and it's 21-7. Nittany Lions were able to move the following kickoff out to midfield, but then Blackledge back to pass. Gets trapped by Husker tackle David Clark. A loss of 11. And one play later, Blackledge trying to get out of a 3rd and 19 situation, puts one up that is picked off by Husker safety Russell Gary. Nationally televised game. The most valuable players for Penn State, Kurt Warner. And for the Huskers, Jarvis Redwine. No further scoring. It ends 21-7. Huskers and Nittany Lions now all square at 4 wins apiece in lifetime meetings. And the Joe and Tom post-game handshake. And once again, see you next year. This one will be at Lincoln.
Well, we're real pleased. We're a little sloppy at times today, but we played pretty well. It was a tough game. They have a heck of a good football team.
And in 1981, the scene shifts to Lincoln. Penn State coming off a Fiesta Bowl win over Southern Cal. Huskers posted a Sun Bowl win over Mississippi State that finished 7th and 8th in the final AP poll of the year. Didn't take the Nittany Lions long to get rolling. Kurt Warner showing his usual form against Nebraska, 5 yards to the left side. Warner again for big yardage. A twisting run up the middle to keep the Penn State drive going. Joe Paterno gets into the ball game from the sidelines with a comment or two. Warner once more, this time for 20 yards before finally being flagged down deep in Husker territory. A Lion pitch out. Linebacker Steve Damkroger knocks the ball loose, but Penn State recovers. But the Nittany Lions are faced with 4th and long, and they decide on a field goal try. It is good, and the Lions are on the board. Huskers, eager to get back in it, get a sparkling kickoff return from Anthony Steels. But the cheers turn to groans when the ball comes loose. And the Nittany Lions recover. Kurt Warner continues to pile up yards. This carry for 14 and a first down. And that Penn State cheering section continues to move it up. When the Cornhusker defense stiffens, Penn State gets off a beauty that is down at the Husker 1-yard line as the first quarter comes to an end. Early in the second period, Mason locates Jamie Williams over the middle, and it's a foot race. Williams finally shoved out of bounds at the Penn State 14. Roger Craig dents the middle, but is held short of the touchdown by the Lion interior. However, on the next play, Craig again up and over, and the Huskers get the lead 7-3, and the balloons go up at Memorial Stadium. Now Nebraska, a low kick, bounces off a Penn State player, and linebacker Mike Knox makes the recovery for the Huskers. But all for naught, as it turns out. A missed handoff, and Penn State gets it right back. Kurt Warner chips in another 11-yard effort. But again for the Lions, it comes up 4th and long, and again, Penn State elects to go for and get the field goal. 7-6 with over 8 minutes remaining in the first half, and then a third Penn State field goal gives them a 9-7 lead. Mike Maurer at quarterback for the Huskers. Throws on the run, split in Woody Woodward curling back. Diving catch good for 17 yards. Next, a deep reverse. Maurer to Anthony Steele, who turns upfield, turns it on. Only to part company with a football on a good Penn State hit. The Huskers do manage to recover this one. But Penn State holds. Roger Craig off the right side for some yards, but not quite enough. So place kicker Eddie Neal puts 3 points on the board, and Nebraska back on top by a margin of 10-9, with only 1:25 left in the half. Still, the Lions aren't through. More Kurt Warner, a pitch out, and some good yardage. Then Todd Blackledge, who sets up the screen beautifully. A toss to Warner, who runs through and over people for another big Penn State gain. Given time to look, Blackledge spots Jackson and threads the needle. A fine pass and a great catch. Penn State goes back in front. And one final touch, the Nittany Lions elect to go for the double extra point. It's a pass, it's complete, and it's 17-10 Penn State at the halftime break. Now it's the Huskers' choice to open the third quarter, and down 7 points, they want the football. Penn State's defense yields very little, and the Huskers are forced to kick it away. But a Penn State fumble. Mitch Krink recovers, and the Cornhuskers are in business at the Penn State 21. Maurer with a pitch to Roger Craig, an 8-yard pickup. And to the air, Maurer to Jamie Williams, 9 yards and a touchdown. Neal's extra point ties it at 17. For the Penn Staters, Kurt Warner continues to roll up yardage. This time a pickup of 10. Fullback Joel Cole scampers to his left and adds 10 more. Warner again, showing his speed, turning the corner for another 10-yard gain before being swarmed under by red jerseys. But it gets tougher, and again the Nittany Lions will settle for a field goal. Marco's fourth of the day. They lead it 20-17. And on the kickoff, Anthony Steele's deep to take it, brings back a good return. Then Steele gets mad at himself for slipping when he had a chance for even more yardage. Maurer to Roger Craig, an 8-yard gain before he shoved out of bounds. And to the air one more time, the Maurer to Woodward connection. The Huskers have 7 more points in the lead, and now it's 24-20. Fourth quarter, Penn State's drive gets another boost up the middle. A short yardage gain of 5 to make it 2nd and 5. Todd Blackledge rekindles his own aerial attack. Bullseye to Mike McCloskey. 1st and goal from the Nebraska 3. Fullback Joel Coles not to be denied. And Penn State retakes the lead 27-24 with time running out. Penn State's defense is unyielding. 4th and long, Huskers gamble with a fake punt and run, and Brungart enough for the first down. Now Mark Maurer fakes a reverse, then rambles outside for another Husker first down. Fullback Phil Bates in a trap up the middle. Good for 12 yards. But then Penn State slams the door. A Husker field goal try fails. Huskers trying to hold and get the ball back for one more effort. Watch Kurt Warner round out a 200-yard-plus day with this long-distance effort all the way to the Nebraska 21. There the Huskers hold for 3 downs, but Franco's 5th field goal of the day makes it 30-24. The Penn State secondary turns out the lights on the Huskers' final try. A Maurer to Crank pass is picked off. And all that is needed now is to run out the clock. And that the Lions do. A Nittany Lion win on the Husker home grounds. A Paterno-Osborne handshake. Tom saves one for Kurt Warner, and that's it. Until next year at Beaver Stadium. The 1982 meeting. Penn State coming off a Fiesta Bowl win over Southern Cal. The Huskers had topped Mississippi State in the Sun Bowl. A nice day. Capacity House and nationwide television looking on. Penn State has won the flip and elected to receive. Huskers will boot, and here's Kevin Seibel. A straightaway kick that rolls free for a moment. And the Nittany Lions fall on it, but they have to settle for poor field position. Number 14 is Todd Blackledge, the signal caller, as Penn State sets up shop. 25 is Kurt Warner, who was specialized in great days against Nebraska. This time, however, he is stopped for no gain on his first try. And that fired-up black-shirt unit again holds Penn State. The Nittany Lions forced a punt. I-back Roger Craig, a hurdler in high school, watch him go airborne again. Good yards up the middle. Quarterback Turner Gill on the option play. Gets it close on a move outside to the left, up close to a first down. Pick it up 4th and short. Huskers electing to go for it. A fumble snap picked up by Gill, but he's swarmed by blue jerseys. The Nittany Lions will take over. Todd Blackledge, with plenty of time to look over the field, finds in Mike McCloskey for good yardage. Finally shoved out of bounds. This time Blackledge with a pitch to Williams, who turns the left side for a first down near midfield. Then when the Huskers hold, Penn State elects to try for a field goal. However, it goes wide, and it's still a 0-0 game. Huskers go nowhere, and Penn State gets it back near their 10. Blackledge, a pitch to Warner, who shoves blockers out of his way en route to a good gain. Blackledge this time with good protection, and a strike to Greg Garrity for more good yardage for Penn State. Lots of Husker defensive pressure this time, but Blackledge still manages to get off a beauty. A great catch by Warner, and Penn State has moved deep into Nebraska territory. Not to be denied this time, Blackledge spots Kirk Bowman behind the defenders in the end zone. 7-0 Penn State. Huskers, with time running out in the first quarter, get some tough yards at the middle from Mike Rozier. Coach Tom Osborne anxiously looking on. Turner Gill goes to Irving Fryer. But as he tries to tightrope for a few more, the Lions knock the ball loose and then recover the fumble as the first quarter comes to an end. Huskers do hold and get the ball back a few plays later. Gill with lots of time over the middle to wingback Todd Brown. Takes a tough hit but hangs on. The inside handoff to Rozier, and again, a tough Lion defense holds Mike to a short gain over the middle. Gill hit as he pitches, tosses it short. Penn State wins the race for the loose ball at their own 45. Kurt Warner dancing for good yardage. Finally hauled down near the Nebraska 35. Watch Warner again. Cutting back beautifully off the draw, almost goes the distance. Finally is chased down near the Husker 5-yard line. And the first and goal, Warner, who else? Dipping in and swinging outside for the second Nittany Lion touchdown. It's 14-0. Down 2 touchdowns, the Huskers try some kickoff trickery that the Penn Staters have seen a couple of times before. Rozier to Fryer, a hurdle, and a few extra yards. Now Mike Rozier gets airborne and has a rough landing trying the right side. So the Huskers have to give up the football. Scott Livingston under pressure gets off a short boot out of bounds. Todd Blackledge spots Mike McCloskey in the middle of several Husker defenders. A picture pass for big yardage. Now Blackledge, looking for Kurt Warner in the end zone, almost has this one picked off. Goes incomplete, and then Penn State misses on a field goal try, and the Huskers take over. Turner Gill to Ricky Simmons. Hit hard, but he hangs on to the football. Gill, hanging tough in the pocket, finds Irv Fryer over the middle for first down yardage. And the same combination, Gill to Fryer. But Irving, with a great after-the-catch effort, shakes 2 defenders and goes in to score. And Penn State's margin is now 14-7. Remaining seconds gone. Joe Paterno up by 7, but still a concerned look as he takes his team in at halftime. Penn State's ball as we pick it up in the third period. Blackledge, as is hit, dumps it off to his fullback Joel Coles for a good game. Now a handoff to John Williams, who runs tough to the left side for more good yardage. Blackledge to McCloskey, and watch the big tight end run over some folks after the catch. Finally stopped by Alan Lyday. The Nittany Lions not to be denied. Kenny Jackson grabs a touchdown pass from Blackledge, and Penn State's lead goes to 21-7. The aroused Huskers launch a comeback. Mike Rozier gets the first call and picks up some tough yards. Turner Gill, faking the pitch beautifully, rambles all the way to the Nittany Lion 28. Now Gill finds Doug Wilkening over the middle. Good catch, and it's first and goal. All the way in the air, Gill to Rozier. Watch him surprise the official with a quick handoff. Huskers now trailing 21-14. Neither team can add more points, and the third period ends that way. Coach Tom Osborne going over a play with All-America center Dave Remington. Trouble for Penn State. A hard Husker hit jars the ball loose, and a pile of white jerseys on top. Nebraska takes over and gets a big break. Gill's pass, tipped high in the air by a defenseman, gathered in for a good gain by Irving Fryer. But then comes near disaster. Doug Wilkening, after a good gain, has the ball come loose near the sidelines. Everybody's after it, but the ruling is Husker football. It's 4th and long, and the Huskers elect to go for a field goal. Kevin Seibel on target from 37 yards out, and the Huskers are just 4 points back. Penn State hoping to rebuild their lead with a move outside. Trouble ahead for the Lions. A Blackledge pass pirated in the end zone by Husker cornerback Neil Harris. Huskers break their huddle, realizing that down by 4, this must be a must drive. Gill with a lot of time. Hand off to Wilkening. Yardage in the middle to get it started. Gill goes to the air. Target Jamie Williams. First down, Nebraska. Now Gill with a pitch to I-back Mike Rozier, who doesn't stop until he's inside the Penn State 5-yard line. Huskers interior linemen give Gill some operating room, and he's over. A go-ahead score, 80 yards in 13 plays. Huskers take the lead 24-21. 1:18 to go. And now it's Penn State in a do-or-die situation and needing points. Blackledge looking for his favorite receiver. Kenny Jackson finds him. Again Blackledge. Again Jackson. And another gain as Penn State moves it down the field. And the key play on the drive. Blackledge pitching, Mike McCloskey catching. Look at it again in slow motion and see if you agree with the call. The official closest to the play says yes. And it's first and goal, Penn State. Huskers still have a chance, but Blackledge backs up, floats a soft pass to Enkirk Bowman, who makes a diving scoop. The official's arms go up, and the crowd goes berserk. Only seconds left in the game. The Huskers need a miracle and don't get one. Mike Rozier trying to get out of bounds and save a second, but it's all over, and Penn State wins the thriller 27-24. With one more game to go in the Modern Series, the Hall of Fame game date in Rutherford, New Jersey. Meadowlands Stadium, 1983, the Kickoff Classic. They played this one at East Rutherford. They call it the Kickoff Classic, and they've moved the opening date up to August 29 to get national TV coverage. For both sides, plenty of All-America candidates on display, including Mike Rozier, who will win the Heisman Award, and of course Penn State's outstanding receiver, Kenny Jackson, who's haunted the Huskers for the past 3 seasons. The game that opened the 1983 college football season. Huskers had gone to the Orange Bowl and defeated LSU 21-20 their last time out. Penn State kicking off to get it open. Mike Rozier had it, lost it, and just got it back. Turner Gill at quarterback. Opening play. Screen pass in the left flat to Rozier. A 9.5-yard gain, but then it got tougher and the Huskers couldn't move the football. They punted. Penn State on their 20. And their first play is also a pass to Kenny Jackson and a first down out of the 30-yard line. Penn State again going to the air, this time attempting the bomb. But the Huskers are back in good coverage by Brett Clark. This one falls incomplete. Then the Huskers get it back. Turner Gill rolling to his left, dives in for 5 yards. Now Gill with that difficult run to your left and throw on the run. Lost one to Irving Fryer. Fryer gets it, gives up some yards trying to cut back for additional yardage, but gets dropped by the Lions secondary. Tom Osborne looking on. Turner Gill continues to look to the left side of the Penn State defense. This time to flanker back Shane Swanson on the receiving end, who is just about in the end zone. Gets it down, first and goal from the 1. Most anybody anywhere could have guessed the next call. Gill on the sneak. And the Huskers go in front 7-0. Strang at quarterback for Penn State. Scrambling. And then throwing incomplete. Coach Joe Paterno gets a bit of pacing in on the sidelines. Huskers get it back on a punt. Fullback Mark Shaleen with a burst up the middle for a Husker first down and then some. Now watch as Turner Gill is the only one in the picture as he rolls right, then turns upfield for major yardage. Gill with good protection. Watches Monty Engebretson come open in the end zone, hits him with a pass. 14-0 Nebraska as the first quarter comes to an end. Warm night in New Jersey. All Huskers for the first 15 minutes. Plenty for the Big Red cheerleaders to cheer about. Penn State calls on John Williams to get things going. A running play for some good yardage. Williams again moving for the first down. But then those rushing yards get harder to come by. Joe Paterno talks with his staff to get some more input. Huskers hold and Penn State has to give up the ball. A kick fielded by Irving Fryer, who looks right for some blocking help. Gets a good run back, but wanted more. Nate Mason stays on calling the signals. This time the pitch to Rozier. Good yardage before being belted out of bounds. Joe Paterno calls out some defensive instructions. Inside handoff, usually a good gainer. This time stopped short. Huskers have had good success upstairs all night. Mason goes there again. Todd Frame grabs it, takes it in. Huskers go out in front 21-0. The time running out in the first half, the Nittany Lions go to the air. This one right on the money and a first down at the Nebraska 25. Once more, another toss. This one to All-America Kenny Jackson. Good for 9 yards. Penn State's Lion mascot climbing high to roar his approval. Herbie Husker exhorting the defense. Timekeeper, though, has the last word. He says that's it. The teams head off field at halftime. Huskers on top 21-0. Penn State and a 5-yard pickup off the left side as they open the second half. Then the Nittany Lions decide to go to the air. Husker linebacker Mike Knox gets a chance at linebacker's Dreamer. A TD, 28-yard interception, and the score. Here's how it looked from the reverse angle. Knox with a juggling act before he tucks it away. Knows where the end zone is. And the scoreboard says 27-0 Nebraska. And the Huskers still aren't through. Gill faking straight ahead, then delivers to Irv Fryer on the left sidelines. Fryer looking for friends, gives ground. Finds help this time and turns upfield. All the way down to the Penn State 45-yard line. Now it's Mike Rozier's turn and more yards for the Husker I-back to keep the drive alive. Watch as Turner Gill fakes the pitch, turns upfield, but this time the Lion defense is not fooled, and Gill is held to short yardage. The Turner Gill to Irv Fryer connection works one more time. We'll move it closer. But then Penn State's line stiffens, brings up 4th and long. Place kicker Dave Schneider gets a shot, and he makes the most of it. A 30-yard field goal, and it's 30-0 Huskers. And the woes continue for Paterno and company. A fumble gives it back to Nebraska. Jeff Smith at I-back now. Long gainer up the middle. Tom Osborne looking on. Talking with Ricky Simmons and Irv Fryer. Nate Mason on a keeper gets hit. Stays on his feet. Picks up his first touchdown of the night from 21 yards out. And the scoreboard reads 37-0. And it stays that way after 3 quarters. 4th period, Penn State still trying to get on the scoreboard. A Lundberg to Jackson aerial is good for 27 yards and a nice catch by Kenny Jackson. The Nittany Lions go to the air again. Lundgren tosses one all the way to the end zone and just barely misses. Coach Joe Paterno with more pacing mileage, waiting for the final gun. Husker reserves at most all the positions now. Craig Sundberg with an excellent option play to the left. That's good for 20 yards. .335 to go and the clock running, and Sundberg down close, hands off to Paul Miles, who tumbles across the goal line to make it 44-0 Nebraska. Time still ticking away. Penn State doesn't stop trying to avert the shutout. And this one succeeds. 6 points. Good catch in the end zone. The final goes to 44-6. The only really lopsided matchup between these two schools, as it's finally over. Huskers tote the Kickoff Classic trophy back to their trophy case, and likely are looking ahead to some future matchups with the Nittany Lions. Maybe next time with a national championship on the line. Tom Osborne, Joe Paterno, 2 gentlemen with class, exemplifying college football at its very best.